It's the 21st of June. Hello, welcome along to Renew Every Morning. So glad that you've been able to join me again. Well, today we are continuing our series, these little vignettes that I've been doing, and I want to think today about the woman at the well. I'm calling this the intercessor who told the truth. Well, now, this story is famed, of course. We all know the story. Jesus is standing by the well. He sent his disciples away to go and recruit some bread and food and stuff, and ambles up to the well a woman, and they have this extraordinary encounter, and she doesn't quite know what to do with herself. But in John 4 and verse 28 is where we're going to just laser our focus on that verse. Then, leaving her water jar, so we know the conversation has gone before, the woman went back to the town and said to the people, "Come and see a man who told me everything I ever did." Well, of course, that's an amazing thing. And then she says, "Could this be the Messiah?" Now, I love this. She doesn't come to the well looking for love. Oh, no. She just comes to draw water, and she comes in the heat of the day, because this is a woman who you might describe, or might be described in those days, as a sort of scarlet woman. This is a shamed woman. She comes at the time of day to avoid the stares and the sniggering and the laughter and all of the shame. She's a woman with a past and a woman with a bucket. And there's a hole in her bucket, and that bucket's her heart. And she has this dialogue with the Lord. And what she finds at the well is someone who saw her completely. And that's the glory of it. He sees straight through to her and loves her. And this is the kind of beginning for her of this extraordinary apprenticeship in love. It's really wonderful. And I think this story says to me that learning on the job begins with honesty. Jesus doesn't condemn her, and that's always the thing. The only one who can condemn doesn't condemn, and everyone who can condemn does. It's extraordinary. He doesn't do that. He doesn't avoid the details either. He names the truth, and he names it with such clarity. "Go get your husband." She goes, "I haven't got one." He says, "No, you're right, you've had 5. And the woman is like, but there's nothing accusatory about it, because it's the word of love that comes. She doesn't feel exposed. She feels known. She feels known. And maybe there's a story that other people just say, "Oh, she's this, she's a slut, she's good, she's that," whatever language they use. But God, no, Jesus knows different. He sees it in a totally different way. He knows her. And that's the paradox of divine love. It sees everything and still invites you to stay. That's the beauty of it. I once remember a lovely Bible teacher coming to the college that I used to run, and he gave a talk, and he said, "If I knew everything there was to know about you, I would never have accepted the invitation to come and speak at this college." And then he said, "But on the other hand, if you knew everything about me, you wouldn't have invited me." And I thought that was just such genius. But here, he does know everything about us and invites us nonetheless. So now this woman doesn't receive any theological instruction. She becomes a theological instruction. You see, Jesus says to her, "You worship what you don't know, but the time is coming and it's now." And can you just think about it? She says, you say worship here, we say worship there. Where do you do the worship thing? And she's standing in front of Messiah, and he teaches her about true worship in spirit and in truth. And remember, you people come and draw this water every day, but let me tell you, the water I give, you'll never thirst again. Well, draw that water from me, the woman says. She gets into a bit of an exchange with him. But he teaches her about this beautiful spiritual worship in spirit and truth. Not on a mountain, not in a temple, but in the middle of a yard, an awkward conversation between a tired rabbi and a woman with a story. And then what happens? She springs up from being a shame bearer to a story bearer. She moves from hiding to proclaiming. You remember that? From being completely hidden to being completely out there. And from being the woman defined by broken relationships, she now becomes the messenger of reconciliation to all who are broken and yet might not even understand it. She doesn't go to a seminary. She goes to her neighbours. No scrolls, no training, nothing. She just runs, and she has in her the authority of an encounter with God. She doesn't lead with theology. She leads with a testimony. She says, "Come and see A man who told me everything. Could this be the Messiah? And the whole village empties out and runs up and comes to see her. And of course they say at the end, now we believe because we've seen, not just because of your testimony. Well, we don't care about that. She wasn't interested in that. But she's now made that super conscious shift. She's moved from being someone who God rescued to being someone who God reveals himself through. She's become the confidant of God because she was willing to be seen and she was willing to stay present despite her shame. She leaves her water jar behind. That's the amazing thing. That's how you know she was changed. She'd come thirsty, but she left filled without even taking a drink. What a message she goes with. And today's renewing thought is simply this. You don't need to have a perfect past to become a powerful witness. You just need to stop hiding. And I'm telling you, in my corporate life, I am more and more honest with people about my stuff. And it's healing people, it's helping people, it's enabling people to be vulnerable, to come and tell me their stories. It's so powerful. Think about the Garden of Eden. We heard the sound of you and we were afraid, so we hid and we covered up. And that's what we've been doing ever since. But this woman says, you know what? I heard your sound and I'm now going to come out. I'm now going to speak. I'm not going to cover up. I'm not afraid. I'm emboldened. That's it. Love is learned not by memorizing facts. It's actually by standing in the truth and being met there by grace. So perhaps your story's messy. Good. You're in the right place. Tell it anyway. Trust in the flow and may you be renewed. God bless you. Bye-bye.